Hare Krishna. Welcome to our weekly Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are in the first canto, 11th chapter. Krishna is entering Dwaraka. Today we'll read from 16th verse onwards. So you can repeat after me the verse, and who will read the translations today? Who will read? Okay. Nishamya preshthamayantam Vasudevo Mahamanaha Akruraschokrashenascha Ramascha Pradyumnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutaha Praharshavego Chashita Shayanasana Bhojana.
Translation. On hearing that the most dear Krishna was approaching Dwaraka Dham, magnanimous Vasudeva, Akrura, who presented Balaram, so superhumanly powerful, Pradyumna, Charudeshna, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoned, resting, sitting, and dying.
Verse 18. Varanendram puraskritya Brahmane Shashu Mangale Shankaturya Ninadena Brahma Goshena Chadrita Pratyujagmurater Hrushtha Pranayagata Satvasa.
They hastened toward the Lord on chariots with Brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them were elephants, emblems of good fortune. Conch shells and bugles were sounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. Thus, they offered their respects, which were saturated with affection.
Verse 19. Varamukyascha shatasho Yane darshano sukha Lasat kundala nirbhata Kapola vadana shriya.
At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads.
Verse 20. Natanartaka Gandharva Sutamagada Bandina Gayanti Chottama Shloka Charitani Adbhutani Cha.
Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus, they proceeded on and on.
So these verses which we are reading, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, is speaking about how the different devotees welcomed the Lord in Dwaraka when he entered. And what is particularly interesting is verse number 19. You can go back. It is explained, Vara Mukhyascha Shatasho. Well-known prostitutes also came eager to meet the Lord. And they were beautifully decorated and they were offering. So this is very interesting that in Dwaraka, there were prostitutes who were welcoming Krishna. So how do we understand this? Generally, when we hear the word prostitute, immediately we think there is compromise on moral standards, there is something sinful. All of these thoughts come to us. So let us see how Srila Prabhupada clarifies about the prostitutes in the verse, purport with this verse.
We will not make all prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord. Even to date, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the law. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood herewith that even in those days, about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dwaraka, where Lord Krishna resided. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizens for the proper upkeep of society. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink wine, who will drink at any cost. And it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encouraged illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions. And if there is no prostitute, then low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devotees of the law, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. Srila Bilwamanga Thakur, a great acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav sect, in his householder life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. One night, when the Thakur came to Chintamani's house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilwamangal, that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if it could be diverted to the devotional service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. It was a momentous hour for the Thakur, and he took a turn towards spiritual realization by the words of a prostitute. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master, and in several places of his literary works, he has glorified the name Chintamani, who showed him the right path. In the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, in the 2nd verse, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, even the low-born Chandalas and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service, there are no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. It appears that the prostitutes at Dwaraka, who were so eager to meet the Lord, were all his unalloyed devotees, and thus they were all in the path of salvation according to the above version of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizens into devotees of the Lord, and thus all good quality of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualifications whatsoever, however they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation.
There's a long purport. So all of you heard as Prabhu was reading. Okay. Is there any point that struck you and that you can remember? You think that you remember now after you read the purport? Is there anything you remember at all? Yes, Anush.
Says that prostitutes are necessary in the society. So we might, they are necessary people, that officially also necessary.
Prabhupada is saying that. Yes. Yes. Right.
I just didn't thought while I was
Don't thought. What you remember from reading this purport? What does Prabhupada say here that you have to share? Yes.
Chintamani is telling Bilwamango Thakur that if this is what attraction you have towards me, if you give it to the Lord, then the devotional.
Yeah. It is one of the most striking points in the purport. That the prostitute is saying the attraction you have for me, if you add for Krishna, you will be so advanced. And that's why she becomes his guru. Any other point?
Devotional part, there is nothing like your birth or
Yes.
it is open to all.
Yes, devotional service is all attractive and it is open to all, even prostitutes. That is the point which is very striking in this purport. There are many beautiful points Prabhupada writes here to clarify any bewilderment that you may have. Any other points?
5,000 years ago, there was prostitutes.
5,000 years ago also there were prostitutes. Prabhupada says that. Anything else anybody remembers from this purport? It's a long purport. Anybody online wants to share anything they remember? Yes, Nisha.
But eagerly waiting.
Yes, they were eagerly waiting for Krishna. This is actually, see, that's why when we are reading a purport, now you need to hear attentively. Don't be spaced out. The very important theme here, Srila Prabhupada is, the main theme that Prabhupada is emphasizing is, which is the central theme of Bhagavatam. If anybody reads Bhagavatam attentively, you will read, this is the theme that comes everywhere. That is, pure devotees have overwhelming attraction to Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, that is the theme of Bhagavatam. And to emphasize that point, we see here how even prostitutes are attracted to Krishna. That's how attractive Krishna is. That is the main message Srila Prabhupada is giving in this purport. This is also the message of Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not simply a historical narrative. Although when you read 11th canto, you will find the history of all the kings. But Srimad Bhagavatam is more of a spiritual text. Basically, Srimad Bhagavatam illustrates the transformative power of devotionally being attracted to Krishna, irrespective of material qualifications or disqualifications. So if you see, there are many examples given in the Bhagavatam of how material situation is not given importance when it comes to devotional service. Like here in this context, it is prostitutes not so important. They are attracted to Krishna, that is more important. So like this, material situation not being given importance, one of the most glaring examples is the Rasa Panchadhyaya, the 5 chapters of Rasa Lila, where we read gopis abandoning social conventions to be with Krishna. Now, they were not immoral. It is just the super transcendental, attractive power of Krishna that is emphasized. Also, King Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed. There was injustice. He could have lamented on the unfairness, or he could have taken revenge. But we see what was expected or what is normal, that is not what he does. He takes this as an opportunity to absorb himself in Krishna. But like that, you will see Bhagavatam gives a different perspective. It is not meant for us to logically analyze, it is meant for us to see spiritually. Like there's another section, third canto and first canto explains when Krishna disappeared from this world. First canto speaks about Arjuna, third canto of Uddhava. Both were shocked, both were devastated, but both responded in a very beautiful way. They didn't get into depression. They took shelter in remembrance of Krishna. So basically, these examples in Bhagavatam shows that Bhakti transcends expected norms in society. Generally, what will happen, that doesn't happen when it comes to devotional service. So therefore, attraction to Krishna is the highest principle, service to Krishna is the highest principle. Therefore, in the Bhagavatam, we also find the story of Pingala, who is a prostitute. And there also, Pingala's story is a precedent, which explains as a precedent for transformation. Her story is where she's going through frustration, she's going through agony. And in that situation, she experiences a profound spiritual awakening. And she becomes detached from material desires. So basically what this shows is, this illustrates that even someone who is engaged in normally, which is seen as a sinful profession, even such people under Krishna's grace, they can develop spiritual realization. So the prostitutes of Dwaraka, so when the Bhagavatam describes Krishna entering Dwaraka and mentions these prostitutes, we have to know that all citizens, including prostitutes, are attracted to Krishna. That is the message here. The emphasis is on Krishna's universal attractiveness. It is not on the moral or spiritual qualification of each individual. We should not change the mood of Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada, sometimes refer to all devotees in ISKCON as pure devotees. And at other times he qualified. He said they are almost pure devotees or potential pure devotees. Right? So pure devotee is a term sometimes used elastically by Srila Prabhupada, depending on the context. So therefore, in this specific case, like the prostitutes are also there in Dwaraka, they are coming to Krishna. That attraction is pure in the sense that attraction to Krishna is not sensual, it is not selfish. It is a response to Krishna's divine beauty and Krishna's presence in their life. So this is, see, I don't want to speculate because I was asking Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, I also referred to his lecture on this theme. And he also said many acharyas, nobody has given focus on how can there be prostitutes. But it's okay, prostitutes are there. They did not delve into it like we may want clarification. So he said, therefore, we should not speculate. We should take it as that the social role or profession does not necessarily define the purity of that specific devotional moment there of being with Krishna. That should not come in that way. So therefore, in Krishna's pastimes, we have to know material and spiritual geography also. Like it was, Krishna's pastimes in Dwaraka, they straddle through both spiritual realm and as well as material realm. Like how much of what was present in Dwaraka at that time is fully spiritual, and how much is part of material society, that is not clearly delineated. It's not clearly demarcated in the scriptures. Like for example, in the Mahabharata we see Krishna is going to Hastinapur. Now, Hastinapur, pure devotees are staying. Krishna also has come there. We should think it is a pure place. But no, you read in Mahabharata, there were butchers. And there were low status professions in Mahabharata time. And they would interact with divine personalities. So if that can happen with butchers, that can be prostitutes also. Like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, if you read Antya-lila, you will see there was a fisherman who caught Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his net. So that means, oh, there is a fisherman, he's catching fish, and we say it is sinful. So we can't get into all of this because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is interacting with him, Sarodamdar Goswami interacts with him, and he's chanting Narasimha mantra also, that fisherman. So the point I'm making is in Dwaraka, when Krishna was there, everyone may have been not everyone may have been an eternally liberated associate of Krishna when Krishna was there. Because some could have been conditioned souls who are elevated by Krishna's presence. Or simply they were part of human society that Krishna interacted with, because Krishna came to the material world to deliver all of us. And also, like Prabhupada also mentioned in previous purport also, during those days, these kind of professions are outside the society. In the sense, geographically, it was not exactly in the heart of the city. Like Prabhupada said, like today he's saying in the purport, the facility was kept. But that doesn't mean it was like the way it is now. Sometimes there is some compromise sometimes. Like, when we were making the Govardhan Eco Village, massive construction was work had to happen. There were this intense working labor was needed. And these workers, they were not devotees. We had to employ them. So they needed liquor, they needed meat. But we can't offer them. It is a spiritual place. So what should we do then? So then we had to direct them to a nearby place. We had to help them go there and come back. So that they do our seva properly for Krishna. So you can't question that, because that is who they are. They are also getting a chance to do devotional service. like Chaitanya Bhaktivedanta Thakur's pastime at Alarna, when they were making Gaudiya Math in the 1920s. So these workers were delaying the work because they needed to smoke bidis. There is a pastime that some devotees had to sit. Bhaktivedanta Thakur ordered them. They were sitting and rolling the bidis for the workers so that the workers can finish the work fast. So you will think, how can a devotee help in rolling bidis? So there is no end to discussion and debate on this. The point is not about whether they should have smoked bidis or we should allow them to smoke bidis or whether the workers in GE should go and eat meat. That is not the debate here. The debate is, there is no debate here. The point is they're all attracted to Krishna's attraction is the theme of Bhagavad. That we should never forget when reading Bhagavatam. We should not get into different kind of discussions. See, rather than questioning how can there be prostitutes and how can pure devotees be prostitutes, a more spiritually constructive perspective to ask would be, wow, how could even prostitutes be attracted to Krishna? Krishna is so wonderful. So that is the mood in which we approach Srimad Bhagavatam. So, because that will underscore Krishna's irresistible attraction. So, that even deep-rooted material conditioning can be transcended by Krishna's spirit. The morning deity worship, we chant this mantra. Yuvatinam yata yuni yunam sha yuvato yata mano be ramate tadvan mano me ramatam te. Rupa Goswami has composed this verse. That Krishna, just like a young boy, is attracted to a young girl. That intense energy. Yuvatinam yata yuni yunam cha yuvato yata. That intense energy of attraction. Mano be ramate tadvan mano me ramatam te. Let my mind be attracted to you with the same goal. But the whole mood of Bhagavatam is that you want to get attracted to Krishna. And to dramatize that impact, we get such kind of verses also. Whether or not these individuals attained liberation immediately or they completely transformed their profession, all of this is not detailed in the Bhagavatam or in the Acharya's commentaries. But therefore, there is no need of unnecessarily speculating on that. Not everyone in Dwaraka may have been spiritually perfect. We don't know. See, actually, if you see, in one sense, not everybody in Dwaraka was spiritually perfect. Because you will see some of the pastimes it's like a movie thriller with twists and plots and turns. And like one of the most amazing pastimes is Krishna being falsely accused of killing Prashena and then also killing Satyajit. In both the assassinations, Krishna was accused. Although Krishna had nothing to do with their murder. I mean, this is like straight Netflix series. When it's amazing. And there are rumors going around in Dwaraka that Krishna killed Prashena. So we are saying pure devotees. Pastimes, aisa hai, they were saying rumors going on strongly. And then not all the citizens in Dwaraka understood or accepted Krishna is faultless. Isn't this amazing? So if you want more details, I request you read chapter 56 and 57 of 10th Canto. Oh, it is amazing. It's like a real classy movie. It is a which pastime? Anybody knows? What is this pastime? Famous pastime? Syamantaka jewel. Syamantaka money. So there was a nobleman in Dwaraka, Yadu, called Satyajit. He was very big devotee of Suryadev, sun gods, pakka devotee, and he would perform a lot of austerities to please Suryadev. So Suryadev was very pleased with Satyajit. So he gifted him this Syamantaka jewel necklace. And it was a dazzling gem that could produce around 8 bharas, which is around hundreds of pounds of gold every day, imagine. And that ensured prosperity and safety for the kingdom if the right person, virtuous person, has it. So Satyajit returned to Dwaraka with the jewel. And when he was walking around, he appeared like sun. Because he was so effulgent. So people thought that Suryadev himself has come to Dwaraka. He became popular. He started trending now. Pura, all Facebook likes everywhere. All the people are watching his reels only. He is very attractive. His Suryadev has come. So then Krishna realized, Krishna knows the power of Syamantaka money, how a virtuous person should have and how it should be in proper place. So he came to Satyajit and he advised him. He said, see, you should present this jewel to Ugrasen Maharaj. He is the king of Dwaraka and he is the ruler of the Yadus, and the entire kingdom will get benefit. But Satyajit refused because he was attached to that jewel. He didn't want to kill. Now, this was the act of greed which sowed the first seed of trouble for him and for everybody connected. This is Dwaraka. So, I'm just giving this in the context of reading about prostitutes. So, what all can happen in a kingdom? So, then some days later, Satyajit had a younger brother, Prashena. See, he put it on and he went for his regular hunting and for roaming. So in the forest, unfortunately, a lion attacked Prashena and killed him. And then lion took that jewel and put it on himself, and the lion was going around. And then that time, the bear, Jambavan, who is very powerful, he saw, and Jambavan is very famous because Lord Ram helped in the Ramayana. So Jambavan, he saw the lion and he saw the jewel, and then the lion and Jambavan had a big fight. And then Jambavan killed the lion and took that jewel and he gave it to his child as a toy. And the child was playing with it in the forest. Now, meanwhile, what is happening in Dwaraka? Prashena did not return. So Satyajit was concerned. Satyajit said, where is Prashena? So the rumors started spreading. Satyajit said, oh, Krishna wanted my jewel. I did not give him. Now Prashena is missing. This is how a mystery thriller works. He is the one who is killed. So then rumors started spreading that Krishna has done this to obtain the jewel. Because Krishna had earlier suggested that the jewel should be given to Ugrasen. So people thought he wanted it for himself. Now Krishna felt pain. He is a human prince in Dwaraka, although he is the Supreme Lord. So he showed what a noble person will do when there are false accusations. And a royal family person. So through action, through his truth, instead of just defending himself. So how did he vindicate? How was he cleared? How did he clear his name? How was he vindicated? He said, I'll go to the forest with some trusted companions. He said, we'll go and search for Prashena. Now, right now, they don't know what has happened to Prashena. But they followed the trail. And they saw in the forest Prashena's corpse. They were convinced that he was killed. And then they went ahead, they saw lion's corpse. And then they followed the footprints. And finally they met Jambavan. Jambavan's cave, they reached there. And Krishna saw that a child is playing with the Syamantaka jewel. Krishna was stunned. And seeing Krishna, Jambavan came. Now Jambavan, at this point of time, did not recognize that this is Lord Ram. And there was a big fight now for that Syamantaka jewel. And they fought for how many days? 28 days straight. So then eventually there was recognition and reconciliation. Jambavan recognized that he is the Supreme Lord, he is the same Ram, because he was exhausted. Jambavan got bruised and he realized that his opponent was none other than Lord Ram, who had come in Treta Yuga, whom he had served. So not only gave the jewel back to Lord Krishna, he also gave his daughter Jambavati as a gesture of devotion. So Krishna now comes back to Dwaraka with Syamantaka jewel and a new wife. So Krishna is vindicated, right? But then Krishna comes to Dwaraka, he calls for an assembly, Sabha bulate hain wo, and there in that assembly he returns the Syamantaka jewel to Satyajit in public, proving that he is innocent. And Satyajit becomes ashamed. He realizes his mistake. And to atone and honor Krishna, what does he do? He offers both the Syamantaka jewel also and his daughter. Who is his daughter? Satyabhama. He offers Satyabhama in marriage to Krishna. What does Krishna do? Krishna accepts both? No, Krishna accepts only Satyabhama. He returns the jewel, he says, let it remain with your family. Because he had already proved that he didn't want it. Now the story doesn't end here. Season 2 also starts. ऐसे होता है ना नेटफ्लिक्स में सीजन 2 फिर सीजन 3
इसी जगह पे रोक लेते हैं.
ऐसे जगह पे रोक लेते हैं कि कुछ नेक्स्ट सीजन के लिए वेट करो. So then the next chapter, there is murder of Satyajit now. Because Satyajit's daughter, Satyabhama, got married to Krishna. So there was one person, Shatadanva, who was in love with Satyabhama. He wanted to marry her. So he got very angry with Satyajit that you gave her to you gave her to Krishna. So he also wanted the jewel and Satyabhama's hand, both. So he killed Satyajit. And if I didn't get Satyabhama, let me at least get the jewel. So again, he ran away with that jewel. At that time, Krishna was not in town. Krishna was not in Dwaraka. Again, rumors arose that somehow Krishna is connected to this murder. And then Krishna returns and he hears this news and then he does this investigation. And he finds out that all the investigations, all the evidences, he does all that thing and he comes to know Shatadanva. He is the one who has killed. So he pursues Shatadanva. He finds out where he is. And he recovers the jewel. He kills him. Now, but he doesn't get the jewel because he has given the jewel to Akrura and Kritavarma. Now, Akrura and Kritavarma had bhadkawed Shatadanva to steal the jewel. I mean, who is Akrura?
Full politics.
Full politics. Akrura actually. Anyway, Krishna was exonerated again, and the kingdom saw that Krishna's character is spotless. But this pastime has become very juicy and amazing because this shows that even in Krishna's own city, Dwaraka, there were mixed levels of spiritual realization. So, what is the big deal if there are some prostitutes? Coming back to the purport. So the point is, it is possible that there were some professions. Well, I remember when I joined the ashram and we were reading Bhagavatam, when I read this first purport, I was also a little disturbed. But then over the years, of course, they understood. But the point is, certain professions existed as a part of the broader social structure. And Akrura's role is what is most fascinating in the Syamantaka jewel episode. It is subtle, but also very instructive that how even good devotees, nice devotees, we can get entangled in political and moral complexity when wealth and suspicion enters our lives. When that enters the scene, things can go crazy. If you see step by step Akrura's role, if not chapter 56 and chapter 57 is also describes this in great detail. Like what happened after Satyajit was murdered. So then Krishna, Shatadanva realized Krishna and Balaram are smart, they will come and catch me. So he gives the jewel to Akrura. And when Krishna and Balaram pursue to punish Shatadanva, he fears his life. He secretly hands the jewel to Akrura for safekeeping. And Akrura was a senior Yadava. He was very wealthy. He was known for his devotion. He was known for his piety. And remember, he's the same Akrura who came to take Krishna from Vrindavan. And Shatadanva is telling him, you keep the jewel. And he runs away. And Akrura, he was wise. See, he didn't get directly involved in this politics. But what mistake he did, he didn't disclose to anyone that he has received the jewel. It's a little subtle. He could have told, na? He could have immediately told the police, mere paas mil gaya. Because they're searching for it. So Krishna and Balaram caught up with Shatadanva, they killed him. But then when they started searching his body, they did not find the jewel. So now Akrura is quietly keeping the jewel. Now again, here the question arises, why Akrura kept the jewel? He's a pure devotee of Krishna. Now he saw Syamantaka jewel is linked with Suryadev. And he was wealthy also, Akrura. He was charitable also. So he thought if I have this jewel, I can perform a lot of sacrifices and I can distribute charity. I can distribute gold liberally. His intention was good. In fact, the scriptures say that he used it for religious purpose, for charitable purposes, not for greed. But still, he failed in the sense he did not disclose. That's what I'm saying. There is always Yudhishthira Maharaj is very virtuous dharma, but he gambled. No? Garbadi galti kiya na? So the point is black and white mein nahi rehna. But when we talk about Dwaraka, we talk about kingdom, our Dhyana Prabhu used to tell us, you want to do bhajan Hare Krishna, simple, under a tree in Vrindavan, then there will be no politics, no management, no problem. But once you want a fan or a light above your head, then management comes. And all the problems of management comes. So don't look for utopia. Don't look for ideal state. This is basic. आप दुनिया में रह रहे हो ना, you are dealing with the world. So we talk about spiritual world. Sometimes they have a very fantastic idea. Now I come to temple. Very good
idea.
Understand outside people.
You should tell them Mirza Ghalib's Shairi. Mirza Ghalib, very famous line he has composed. दिल बहलाने के लिए ख्याल अच्छा है. दिल बहलाने को ख्याल अच्छा है, पर जन्नत की हकीकत हमें भी मालूम है गालिब. It's a very famous line of Mirza Ghalib.
हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब के ख्याल
अच्छा है. Sometimes that second line is given first. दिल बहलाने को ख्याल अच्छा है, पर जन्नत की हकीकत हमें भी मालूम है गालिब. मतलब हम लोग ना एक उटोपियन वर्ल्ड में रहते हैं. So you see Akrura, he failed to disclose, and that caused continuous rumors and suspicion in Dwarka about Krishna's role. So what happened? Now for a long time, these unpleasant rumors are circulating that Krishna must have taken the jewel. This was painful and also dishonoring Krishna. In Dwarka, now we are reading first canto, 11th chapter, where everybody is pure devotee, glorifying Krishna. Now this period, Akrura and Kritavarma, both they had sided with Shatadhanva. They left Dwarka because they were also under stress. Because possibly to avoid involvement in the controversy. Because they were absent. Now the Syamantaka jewel का कुछ तो उसमें technical चीज है. That caused drought and calamity was entering Dwarka. You must say, but Krishna is there. It's a logic मत पूछो. Past times सुनो. But then the reference started saying, oh, Akrura has left. And there is drought, means Akrura has Syamantaka jewel. Or maybe sun god is displeased. Again, more speculation. So Krishna understands what is happening. Then he very diplomatically catches Akrura and invites him to Dwarka. Please come, we want to honor you. So Akrura returns. When Akrura returns, prosperity also returns. Rain comes, wealth comes, auspiciousness comes. Then Krishna calls for a public assembly, and very tactfully and diplomatically, Krishna asks Akrura that, we know that we have heard that you have a jewel and it's okay, but can you, not accusingly, Krishna does not accuse him, but very diplomatically he says, oh Akrura, we hear that the Syamantaka jewel is with you, please show it to us, let the mind of everybody be pacified, let them see it and take darshan. He presents it as if it's okay, it is with you, but let us all get darshan. So Akrura also is intelligent, he recognizes that Krishna is humble. And is wise also. He recognizes Krishna's wisdom and humility in this social interaction. So he brings that jewel in the entire assembly. And then Krishna, now everybody is clear who has the jewel, what is happening. And that's how Krishna clears all doubts. And then he declares, let Akrura keep the jewel, and he possesses it. And he's pure, Akrura is generous, and Akrura will do good for our Dwarka, and I have no personal interest in it. So Krishna's spotless character is once again re-established. And Akrura's devotion and honesty is also vindicated. Krishna honors him also. But misunderstandings can happen. No? So this is amazing. We have Navida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam. The best example for Shravanam, Parikshit Maharaj. Best example for Kirtanam, Sukdev Goswami. Best example for Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj. Best example for Pada Sevanam, Lakshmi Ji. Best example for Archanam, Ritu Maharaj. Best example for Dasyam, Hanuman. Best example for Sakyam, Arjuna. And Atmanivedanam, Bali Maharaj. And all the 9, somebody is offering Ambarish Maharaj. And out of this 9, one I missed. Vandanam, prayers. Who is the best example for offering prayers? Akrura. Akrura is the best example for offering prayers to Krishna. But he is misunderstood, or he misunderstood. In fact, when he came to Vrindavan to take Krishna, he feared that Kamsa will punish him. Then he feared that Krishna will misunderstand him because he's coming as a messenger of Kamsa. But then he says, no, Krishna will understand. So, like that. So, when the conclusion of all this discussion I wanted to say was that the presence of prostitutes in Dwaraka is not a commentary on the spiritual acceptability of that profession. That is not being vindicated or described in the Bhagavatam. It is not an endorsement of moral relativism. Basically, it is highlighting the power of Krishna's divine charm, which can touch the hearts of even those who may be in most materially entangled conditions. So instead of seeing this pastime, these verses as a challenge to the concept of pure bhakti, we should see it as a glorification of Krishna's universal attractiveness, which can awaken devotion even in the most unexpected people. This is the miracle. This is the message of miracle and message of Bhagavatam. So I give you different layers of perspective. The Bhagavatam can be seen through different layers. Now, one is sociological. See, Bhagavatam is not embarrassed by the sociological reality. Bhagavatam will describe society as it was. Bhagavatam doesn't describe society as we wish it to be. Dwaraka is not a monastery where there are sadhus living. It was a fully functioning city, state, like a capital. Thousands of families, soldiers, merchants, administrators. In such a city, there will be various social classes, occupations. So when Bhagavatam mentions prostitutes, it is describing a real segment of the society. Not endorsing their activity, but acknowledging their presence. I was reading 4th canto, very nice section, 22nd chapter, verse number 55. Prithu Maharaj, how he was ruling the kingdom. Prithu Maharaj was a perfect ruler. So there is this nice verse, 55th verse. Prithu was a perfect devotee of the Lord. He wanted to protect the Lord's creation by pleasing the various... Listen to this. He was protecting the Lord's creation by pleasing the various citizens according to their various desires. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj used to please them in all respects by his words, mentality, works, and gentle behavior. And then Prabhupada writes in that purport, which really struck. I want to read Prabhupada's sentence. The ruler of the... Very interesting. This is a long purport. Okay, wait. A devotee can understand the purpose of creation, which is to give facilities to the individual living entities who want to lord it over material nature. So we want to lord it over material nature. So devotee will give us facility. And if the ruler is a devotee, like Prithu Maharaj is the ruler, the ruler should therefore know that all the inhabitants, especially human beings, have come to this material world for sense enjoyment. It is therefore the duty of the ruler to satisfy them in their sense enjoyment, as well as to elevate them to Krishna consciousness so that they can ultimately return home back to God. The ruler's job. That is not a sannyasi or guru's job. On the Vyasasana, we are not supposed to say, okay, enjoy Sangha. Sannyasi, guru's job is different. The ruler's job is to ensure sense enjoyment भी हो जाए आपका और भगवत धाम भी जाए, purify हो जाए. So with this idea in mind, the king or government head should rule the world. Then everyone is satisfied. So it's a long purport, but anyway. So you are getting the point I'm making. It's subtle. Kingdom management is subtle. So when you're reading Bhagavatam, don't become close-minded. अरे खुला दिल रखो, कृष्ण से प्यार करो. There is a difference between descriptive and prescriptive. So descriptive is how the kingdom was. It is not how it should be. Prescriptive, not scriptures have to be understood in this light. Scriptures are not always giving prescriptive. Not always scriptures are prescribing aisa hona chahiye, aisa hona chahiye. Scriptures also describe aisa tha. Like Krishna, for example, as it is. Like what is the Bhagavad Gita famous verse? Krishna comes to material world. Why? B.R. Chopra made everyone memorize it.
Yada hi dharmasya.
Glanir. What is the glani? Dharma glani means there is deterioration of religion. Means when Krishna comes, situation is not ideal. He comes to establish dharma. Means perfection may not be there when Krishna is here. In fact, in the Gita it says, "Na Sar kale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa." The power of time, things deteriorate. So Krishna comes to set things right. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes also we find it's not prescriptive; it is descriptive many places. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is living in. This is also Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gave this beautiful example, which really hit me. You can hear his class. It's there on YouTube. So he explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri would go every day to give prasad to Haridas Thakur. Now Haridas Thakur was Muslim born. He was not allowed inside. And same Jagannath is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have said, "Hey, isko allow karo." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going and giving him prasad. So that means it is descriptive. It is not saying that we should see. It's not telling us what we should do. It is Chaitanya Charitamrita is telling us what was happening that time. Srila Prabhupada strongly objected when his foreign disciples were not allowed inside Jagannath temple. He told the Pandas, "This is Jagannath, not Oriyanath. It's not for Oriya people." So see, that's a reason why they don't allow. That's another subject matter. But the point is, we sometimes get lost in things that are not really important. Hiranyakashipu may be described as someone who is breaking all temples, destroying. That is not prescriptive. That is descriptive. Sometimes things are clear. What demons are doing, that's what they are doing. It's been described to us. But sometimes there are occasions when we don't know what scriptures are saying. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kaviraj Goswami, you see, their pastimes. Like they are describing about Jagannath Puri. Nobody is saying, "Oh, they were not allowed inside the temple and this is unfair." Nobody has said it like that. So that was a norm that time. And they accepted it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a reformer. He was not a revolutionary. And there's a difference. Reformer will make slow changes. They say, if there is some damage in the wall, we'll say, "Okay, यहाँ पे थोड़ा paint लगा दो अच्छा." वो reformer है. Revolutionary आके बोलेगा building को गिरा दो, नया building खड़ा करो. Revolutionary is somebody who wants to do dramatic, big changes. So Mahaprabhu would gel with the existing system and bring about changes. So Mahaprabhu chose his battles. He knew what battles to fight, what to do, and he did that. So therefore, he did not insist Haridas Thakur should go inside the temple. So like that, whenever a point is spoken in the scriptures, Bhagavatam, this is the request. There is this point that we hear. Please understand that there is a point behind the point. That should not be missed because of what we are reading immediately. Sometimes, we understand the point, but we forget the context and the real point. So, like that class which I was hearing, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was in US. So he gave Damodar month was going on. So he was giving in the temple a class on Yashoda Damodar pastime. Now one American lady also came to the class. She was very new in Bhakti. So as he was describing how Mother Yashoda was tying Krishna, she screamed out in the class, "But this child abuse!" She just couldn't. She was not understanding the context. And then Prabhu realized, oh, she's not. There is a point and there is a deeper point. So sometimes the context we don't understand, then the conclusion becomes different. It becomes tangential. So she couldn't get the rasa, she couldn't get the mellow, because then you had to explain to her how society was 5,000 years ago, what was the context, and how Mother Yashoda loves Krishna. But that point is so inflammatory that you're tying a child with a rope and showing a stick, that the point of the point was missed. It's a sweet pastime, but that sweet pastime has left a sour taste. So it's descriptive, not prescriptive. It's not that ISKCON devotees are all tying their children, babies with a rope and beating them or showing stick. Nobody is doing that. It is not prescriptive. That pastime is descriptive. You have to relish it. So the context is lost, Like I've seen when I was new, we used to speak with great joy, Prabhupada smashing scientists. Now, over the last 27 years, I've become a little humble, and I realized, Prabhupada never hated the scientists. I was like fanatic. Prabhupada used to smash the scientists for going to the moon. Or bogus, you would say. Now, moon conspiracy was not Prabhupada's main mission where he came. He came to give us Krishna. That main point we forget. His focus, see, in the Srimad Bhagavatam purport, Prabhupada says, the scientists claim they went to the moon, the very elevated state. But we should not forget the purpose of human life, which is to elevate our consciousness. So Prabhupada's main mission was to elevate our consciousness, go to the highest consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada's, this was a side point. Here a moon bogus said that. That's not the point. We're not international society for exposing moon conspiracy. So Prabhupada's main message was, going to the moon will not solve humanity's problems. They brought some rocks, Prabhupada would say, because he was focusing on how we should focus on the purpose of human life. Prabhupada has written many books. One of his famous books is Easy Journey to Other Planets. Krishna book Prabhupada dedicated to his father, Gaur Mohan Dev. Easy Journey to Other Planets, Prabhupada dedicated to? Anybody knows? Scientists of the world. You're not against the scientists. That's what I'm saying. We sometimes miss the main point. And so therefore, Krishna is all attractive. Everybody is running towards Krishna. And this is demonstrated in this pastime. And also we should understand, because this word used here in this verse is Varamukhya. I put 3 minutes for Varamukhya, which is also many times used as synonym for Vaishya. So in the context, Varamukhya actually means as dancing women, courtesans, entertainers, not necessarily street level prostitutes. So therefore, it's not that in the modern, you cannot take it as modern sense. Because in Vedic culture, some women were trained in music, dance, and poetry, and they would perform in royal courts and festivals. That was part of the Vedic culture. And sometimes their lives would be morally compromised because of the men's desires, or life is like that, right? It's compromised. So, but then their artistic role was recognized in the society. So they were honored. So Dwaraka also, it was more like public performers. They were like temple dancers, royal court, they would perform. And they also expressed their devotion to Krishna by singing, by dancing when Krishna arrived. That is how we see. But the most beautiful way to see this verse is the spiritual, that even if somebody is socially or morally fallen, Krishna is most attractive. And this inclusive thing is what we have to focus on when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That even sinful people can be attracted to Krishna. That's what Prabhupada is also writing in today's purport. That I see it like this, prostitute means unchaste, right? So I sometimes see myself as unchaste. In one sense, I am a prostitute. We are unchaste. We are not fully like devoted to Krishna. So Krishna, but if Krishna can accept prostitutes there in Dwaraka, Krishna will accept me also. Krishna, see, I am also like that. I am unchaste, but I am of whatever I have, I am offering you. Please accept. So like that, Prabhupada is writing here that everybody was eager to serve Krishna. And this shows the power of bhakti, that nobody is disqualified. So it's not a moral blemish in Dwaraka, but it's a triumph of divine love, that even the marginalized people When the fallen, they are drawn to Krishna. They are purified by Krishna's presence. And Krishna's mission was he did not come only for brahmanas, righteous people, pandits. No, he came for everyone. There are people, what circumstances make them do. When those who have studied sociology, they will know, life is tough and you can't have an artificially glorious society. You can't judge people for who they are. But Krishna is so beautiful and attractive that everyone can love Krishna. So therefore, Krishna's mercy and the possibility of spiritual elevation is what is emphasized here. And Krishna's presence doesn't require the society to be perfect. Rather, Krishna's presence will redeem everyone. That is the main. Everyone has hope, basically. Whatever nonsense you are right now, you can still come to Krishna, you can still offer to Krishna.
You will be accepted.
And when Krishna is there, then will be accepted. I'll end with one very nice verse of Kunti Devi. You can repeat after me. Neyam Shobhi Shate Tatra Yate Danim Gadadara Vatpaderankita Bhati Swalakshana Vilakshite. So Queen Kunti is saying that Krishna, that nothing is auspicious in our kingdom. But because you have come, Neyam Shobhishite Tatrate Danim Dadadara Tat Paderankita Bhati. Because you have put your foot on our kingdom has become auspicious. If you are not there, there is no auspiciousness. Swalakshana Vilakshita, everything is beautiful because you are there. So our goal is we have to make our lives auspicious by adding Krishna, adding the Krishna touch. Somehow or other, make Krishna the center of your life. Oh, okay, wait, let me clarify. Even if Krishna is not center of your life, it's okay. If your life is a circle, and there are many things in this circle, job, family, money, and Krishna is somewhere outside the circle. You get Krishna inside the circle and give him some point, some corner in the circle. Oh, in circle there is no corner. But give him some space in that circle. Don't worry about center. At least get Krishna from outside the circle to inside the circle. Then Krishna is expert. He will come to the center. He knows the way. What do I mean by saying put Krishna in the circle? Which means give every day some attention to Krishna. Consistently, every day chant your 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds. Every day do some PT worship. Not too many things. Do one thing, pakka commitment for Krishna. I may not be able to chant 16 rounds attentively Krishna, but every day I will read whatever happens, even if I feel sleepy, 10 minutes, every day I will read Bhagavatam. Some personal commitment to Krishna, which is like giving attention to that point in the circle, Krishna point. And one day Krishna will come in the center. I know one Grahastha in our congregation, he told me many years ago, Prabhu, Krishna is not the center of my life. Krishna is one part of my life. When I went to Singapore with my family for a holiday, I told Krishna, Radha Gopinath, I'm going for a holiday. I cannot be doing any service. Bye-bye. 1 week I'm going to do with my family only. But I'll chant my 4 rounds sincerely. Uske alawa kuch nahi, mandir ka seva. And then when I come to temple to chant, I tell my wife and children, I'm going to temple, now my phone will be off. So when I'm going to gym, I do my gym work. When I'm doing with my business, I'm doing my business. So I give time to Krishna, bas, promise you. And today, 2025, Krishna is the center of his life. Everything is revolving around center. When I look at him, I tell him, Prabhuji, Krishna was one point in your circle, but Krishna has come to the center. What we have done with many devotees is they are very new. Krishna is way outside the circle. We tell them to drag Krishna and put him in center. But when Krishna comes in center, then pura ulta pulta ho jata. Because their center is financial stability, and we tell them jabardasti. So externally has put Krishna in the center, but internally financial stability is the center. So under itna conflict hota hai, he gets into depression, then he loses bhakti altogether. So request you, please give some time and attention to Krishna every day. And that experience of Krishna will make your life beautiful. And then then life will be most auspicious. Thank you very much. Rantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Hare Krishna.